What made Fortnite special? Was it your friends, your family, the YouTubers, the streamers you used to watch after you came home from school? Was it really even the game, or just the memories that you attached to it? These are questions that I tend to ask myself whenever I think about the early days of the game, and I suspect a lot of you think the same way. So in this video, we'll be finding out what really made Fortnite so special.
Hey, but now they tell me I switched up. Take this backwood to the face, then grab my cup. Shawty say she coming through, she on her way to fuck. It's a lot of lust, not a lot of love. Hey.
Starting off with the golden era of the game. In Season 1, things were insanely simple. We had a small loot pool, there was no turbo building, and almost everybody was at the same skill level. People didn't even know how to utilize the building mechanic properly. And if you did, you were greatly ahead of the curve. You had veterans such as Myth, Ninja, Dr. Lupo, many streamers from back in the day who really took advantage of being able to build and having good game sense compared to the rest of the competition. And in Season 2, things only started to amp up. In Season 1, while we had the Fortnitemares event, it wasn't really that big, but Epic Games really went crazy for the Christmas event. We got a bigger item shop with Christmas skins, the Season 2 Battle Pass, a Christmas map, a Christmas battle bus. It was insane. The Black Knight is still one of the most rarest and legendary skins to ever hit the game, and people still want it to somehow return to Fortnite. It was a tier 70 reward. The Black Knight, when you saw one of those back in the day, you already knew you were in trouble. And in Season 2, we got so many iconic Fortnite items such as the Chug Jug, the minigun, the snowball launcher, the campfire, the boogie bomb. The list just goes on. Even the mini shield, that wasn't even in Season 1, that got added in Season 2. And we also got the addition of Tilted Towers, probably the most iconic Fortnite location till this day. And we can't forget the rise of TSM Daquan and the double pump strategy. Oh my gosh, Daquan really put everybody onto the double pump. It was honestly just so OP back in the day. So following Season 2, we got Season 3, one of my personal favorite battle passes, Tier 100, the Reaper skin, aka John Wick, one of the most feared skins of all time. Might I say even more feared than the Black Knight back in its heyday. And with all the constant updates, the game just started getting more and more popular. We got the supply llamas, the heavy shotgun, the hand cannon, the hunting rifle, a lot of iconic weapons added to the season. We got the egg launcher and the guided missile. Dude, when the guided missile dropped, everybody on YouTube, everybody in the game wanted to get their hands on it, and rightfully so. The guided missile was genuinely one of the most unique weapons to ever hit the game. However, something peculiar started to happen in the sky that a lot of players realized. A meteor was coming to the island, and a lot of players thought that it would hit Tilted Towers. There was even in-game live events sort of where meteors would fall down and break builds. It was honestly pretty interesting for a game to do this. And lo and behold, Season 4, the meteor finally came down, but the thing is, it didn't hit Tilted, it hit Dusty Depot, and we got Dusty Divot and the Hop Rocks. Everybody thought it would hit Tilted, but Epic Games, they threw us a curveball, did a complete 180, and went for Dusty Depot instead. Season 4 was jam-packed with so much content. We got a really good battle pass with Omega as the tier 100. A lot of people missed out on the lights. RIP if you didn't get the lights. We got the Blockbuster rewards, which had the visitor skin. Everybody remembers back in the day going to risky reels and trying to search those 7 chests, and just how painful that was. And in this season, we did get a lot of iconic weapons. I mean, we got the jetpack added. The jetpack was getting clickbaited for months before this even happened. We got the FAMAS in the game, the legendary and epic burst AR, genuinely one of the best weapons to hit the game. We got the stink bomb, we got the thermal scoped AR. I didn't really like the thermal scoped AR, I'm gonna be honest, but we did get the dual pistols and the drum gun. The drum gun, probably the most busted weapon at the time. The drum gun was insane. It was just too insane for the game. And we also got the introduction of the playground mode, where players were able to go into pretty much private sessions of the game and were able to play with their friends or practice. And this is what leads us to the next section, the turning point. Season 5 was filled with a lot of brand new stuff. We got a pretty iconic battle pass. We got Paradise Palms, we got Rifts, all-terrain carts, and especially Kevin the Cube. It seemed like Fortnite was actually building an overarching storyline coming off of the Season 4 Rocket event. However, Season 5 really changed the gameplay. Double pump was removed, so you weren't able to switch between your shotguns. There was a pretty big cooldown, and the spray meta was just going insane. They vaulted the TAC SMG, but they added the P90, and I'm pretty sure the drum gun was still in the game. And this is really the start of the competitive era. We had so many good players back in the day, such as Tfue, Ghost Aiden started his come up, you had Liquid Poach, you had Bizzle. There was just so many big names back in the day. And we can't just not mention the 2018 Summer Skirmish during Season 5. This was a genuine disaster. This was essentially the first big tournament that Epic Games hosted. There were a lot of big names in this, and the servers, they just couldn't keep up. It was just a genuine lag fest. It was terrible, but it gave kids back in the day actual hope and motivation to get better at the game. Seeing people like Tfue, Ninja, Myth play it out on the big screen, just going crazy in a tournament. And this is around the time when people on controller started switching over to Builder Pro, because those were the most optimal binds for controller at the time. So now we have Season 6. In my opinion, this was the worst battle pass of Chapter 1. Loot Lake was just getting changed literally every other day. You had the floating island and the cube runes all over the map. They added the quad launcher, the quad crasher, the 6-shooter. I thought the 6-shooter was genuinely mid, and they added another Fort Nightmares event, so obviously they unvaulted the pumpkin launcher, which was a good change. Obviously, the best weapons from this season had to be the heavy AR, aka the AK, and the purple and gold pump. Gold pump, undisputed gold shotgun of Fortnite, greatest of all time. And then this season we had the fall skirmish. Of course, the fall skirmish did way better than the summer skirmish. Summer skirmish, it was nostalgic, but it was pretty bad, I'm not gonna lie. But Epic Games learned, they upgraded their servers, and there wasn't really many issues with lag in the fall skirmish, man, so it was pretty good. So now we're on to our next section, the real competitive era. Season 7, one of the greatest Fortnites of all time. Even though Epic Games did piss us off sometimes with the planes, the Infinity Blade, and the boombox, we can't lie to ourselves. This was a pretty fun season, especially with the new map changes, such as Greasy Grove being underground in the ice and Polar Peak being added. This was a very nice season, and the 14 days of Fortnite events. But I can't talk about Season 7 without bringing up the rise of the controller players. You already know Team Chronic, man. Everybody in Chronic was just a controller demon. Even the people trying out for the team that weren't in Chronic were always just so good at the game. It was insane. We can't talk about Season 7 without bringing up what happened in the winter skirmish. Dude, I'm just gonna cue the clip.
Oh, this player's gonna get it.
Oh, boy,
there
Finn.
it is.
Oh, that
That's
was
all
Predator.
him.
No, you're not the Predator, bud. He is.
What do you mean by that?
From some defense coming through here, but what are you going to be able to do when you're just
Stop
cutting
him.
through the structures, and Uzi falls to the Infinity Blade?
There it is. See, he's looking to break the structures that are connecting these high ground players so he can pick up more elims too from the fall damage.
Gonna get another one here. He's gonna be.
I don't even gotta play the full clip for y'all to know just how insane this is. Let's just move on to Season 8. So in Season 8, in my opinion, we had a pretty mid battle pass, but the items and the loot pool in this one were pretty cool. We had the Pirates Cannon, we had the Buried Treasure, and we had the Baller. I really liked the Baller. And we also had the introduction of the Reboot Van, the Reboot Card, and the Boom Bow. But in Season 8, this is where people really started to go crazy in creative. Around the time of Season 8, people started to create maps called Scrims with Storm, aka Zone Wars, that you can practice on to get a feel for the real game and high pressure scenarios. This is how people got so good At first it was because of Playground and playing in tournaments, but now it's mainly because of creative and obviously playing in competitive tournaments. And around this time, this is when FaZe Sway started to pop off. People started to realize like, yo, this kid is really the best controller player at Fortnite. And in this season, we did have the unvaulting event where unfortunately, well, maybe fortunately, the fact that Tilted Towers finally got hit by a meteor. Yes, Tilted got hit, and I'm pretty sure parts of retail got hit too, which is why in the next season, Season 9, they got rebranded to Mega Mall and Neo Tilted. Season 9, it kind of had a rocky start, mainly because people had mixed reviews about Neo Tilted and the fact that they removed the pumped shotgun and replaced it for the combat shotgun. But in my opinion, I feel like the combat was actually more like a mix between the heavy shotgun and the pump, because while it did have long range from the heavy, it still did decent amounts of damage. The battle pass in my opinion was pretty alright, and they had some pretty unique weapons and items such as the Chug Splash, the proximity grenade launcher, and the Storm Flip. And we just can't forget about the 14 days of Fortnite event, but this was the summer version, so I'm pretty sure it was called the 14 days of summer. Absolutely peak. Epic Games needs to do this again. And the main thing I hated about Season 9 was how they added the airstrike. We did not need the airstrike in the game. And of course, we also can't forget about the Fortnite World Cup. Truly, probably the most generational event in gaming history, and we all know Booga brought home the solo victory, man. It was absolutely insane. It had a big prize pool. I'm surprised Epic Games hasn't done another Fortnite World Cup. I mean, I guess it's been replaced by the Fortnite Championship Series, but this really is what put Booga on the map, and we can't discredit the other placed players such as Som and Epic Whale and Creo and King. There's so many good players. So of course, after Season 9, we had Season X. In this season, a lot of people really hated it simply because the fact Epic Games decided to add mechs to the game. Yes, Epic Games decided to add mechs. The battle pass, in my personal opinion, it was all right. Again, it was pretty much just reskins of pretty much old battle passes from chapter 1, but I did kind of like how they unvaulted a lot of weapons and added some new ones. But I hated how they massacred Greasy Grove. They turned it into like a taco town. I forgot what it was called, but pretty much after like every 30 seconds you would start doing some taco emo. It was terrible. I don't know why Epic Games decided to do that. And in terms of tournaments, it wasn't really that crazy. We did have the Season X Fortnite Championship Series, but it makes sense because Epic Games was cooking up one of the biggest events, the end event, and there was pretty much a black hole at the end of the event. The island was cooked and everybody thought Fortnite was going to shut down. This was a time to be alive. And of course, after that, we got Fortnite Chapter 2. So now we're looping back to the original question: what made Fortnite special? My first reason is nostalgia. Everyone's going to feel nostalgic, and most players started back in Chapter 1. And mind you, Chapter 1 started in 2017, okay? Season 1, the Battle Royale itself started in 2017. That's almost 10 years ago. Think about how much you've changed in the last 9 to 10 years, 8 years. Think about how much you've changed. I guarantee that you are not the same person. You are not the same kid. Even if you were an adult, you are not the same adult you once were when you first started Fortnite. The graphics, the game just looked so different from everything else that was out at the time in 2017, 2018, even to 2019. Epic Games was doing different stuff. I mean, they pretty much invented crossplay for players. Xbox and PlayStation, they pretty much made it the norm. Epic Games, they made having a battle pass system in your game the norm. A lot of people, they waited those 24 hours to see what skins would be in the item shop and what's going to be rotated out. I remember coming home from school and asking my mom for some V-Bucks so I can get this skin, because I knew I only had like 4 or 5 hours left until this skin rotated out of the shop. I remember staying up all night when it was transitioning from chapter 1 season 4 to chapter 1 season 5. It was a summer night. This is pretty much going to be 9 years ago at this point. And I remember waking up after like what, 5 a.m. seeing all of this, and then I'm going to sleep, waking up at like 11 a.m., hopping on with my friends, getting a dub the first day, driving to ATKs. Like, this was just a different time period to be alive. Nowadays, I'm not going to be staying up all night for a Fortnite update or a new Fortnite season, even a Fortnite chapter. You're just not going to see me doing that. So all the memories you've had with the game, with your friends, playing the game, watching your favorite YouTubers, watching your favorite streamers, this is why you feel this type of way towards early Fortnite, and that's why I feel that way too. This game, when I first started it, it was literally like no other game that I played. Like, obviously, I'ma see some influence from Minecraft a little bit, you know, building blocks and stuff. I mean, I guess that would translate to building builds inside the game, but Fortnite still had its own identity. I loved the early cartoonish style to the game, and when I was new to the game, bro, I remember literally some of my first games in Fortnite, I was purposely going into the storm because I was just a little kid, bro. I didn't know what I was doing. So that's why Fortnite used to be special to me, and it still is special to me. But that early Fortnite era, it was just, bro, I don't think any game is going to reach that peak for me. Probably GTA 6. That's going to be the only game for me. So let me know down in the comments, why do you guys feel like Fortnite is special, man? Like, I just want to know. I spent a lot of time on this video, so if you guys did make it to the end, I would appreciate you guys if you subscribed to the channel, and let me know if you guys want me to make a part 2, but with chapter 2, chapter 3, all those other chapters of Fortnite. All in all, I'ma catch y'all in my next video, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day or night.